the program parent university semester is so new to the market, and that masterclass that you participated in was kind of like the taste test of what the experience would be like.
Mm-hmm.
The full parent course is like 12 modules spread out. We work with our teens. It's diving deep. But I would love to first know, what were your worries or concerns before engaging with us during the masterclass?
Sure. Well, I had a lot of concerns because of my own experience where it was first generation, having to navigate, dealing with school counselors and figuring out the college process. I had applied to like 15 schools. We didn't have much money. So even just learning about getting your application fees waived and things like that, or getting financial help to apply for schools or financial help for anything, and applying for different scholarships. And so it was so stressful. And then visiting colleges, I did it on my own, which I don't recommend. And that was such a lonely process. And then finally just choosing a school, almost like, well, I don't know what to pick, so I'm just going to pick this one. And I didn't take the time to research or bounce the ideas off of, I think, sound adults, and didn't quite have the right, I guess the counselors just didn't have the right time or the amount of time to help me. They were probably overloaded too, but also just didn't get good advice. So I just had so much trepidation for my first to be going through this as a 10th grader, and he's not as academically focused as I was. So I was worried about what his experience is going to be. Well, can he get the best situation set up for him? So I was really nervous bringing my own baggage with me.
And, so he's a 10th grader now.
Yeah.
And when you did engage with, so masterclass happened, did you feel like some of those worries or concerns were lessened for
Yes.
you?
So much. So not only did it help to have those other parents on and sharing their fears, their frustrations, questions that they had, I was like, oh yeah, I felt so like there was a community out there, because I'd felt alone for so long with my thoughts and not knowing, what's the right path forward, because my son's very different from me. He's not like me. He's like me in some ways, but not a lot of ways. And he's more athletically focused. He's, I had this hyper focus on grades, and, he's more focused on other things. And then just trying to give him a chance to also enjoy high school. So whereas I was not really enjoying it, I was only focused on where can I get the most weighted GPA, just thinking, oh, because you just have to do that. That's what you're supposed to do, and not really enjoying my classes or enjoying the content of them. So it helped to kind of hear about how important it is to involve your child in this process, and see what their interests are. What do they want to do? Maybe they need to go to a smaller school, or maybe a big school with, fun football teams is going to be the experience that they want. And it's such a unique time. Why not do that versus, oh, well, this is the school where you'll make the most money when you come out of school. So it made me think a lot more about him as an individual and what would be best for him, and to involve him in the process.
I feel like that's such the greatest challenge as a parent is we are so intimately close to this human being that we created and raised, and we want absolutely the best, but we have, and sometimes we don't realize that there are two identities. The parenting relationship can get really complex, where we sometimes can see ourselves as one, or we communicate that like, oh, everything that I am as my identity, I'm transferring over to my child.
Yeah.
And that's what you're saying, that challenge of saying, well, wait a minute, what was my history? And what am I bringing into this relationship, unintentionally or intentionally?
Yeah.
And I feel like that's so courageous of parents, like for you to even attend the masterclass and say, I'm ready to challenge myself. You were in the virtual space and you did not know anyone. What did you have any concerns with that, or what was that experience like?
I'm shy by nature. And so I was like, I was I had some trepidation at first. I was a little nervous, and I thought, I'm supposed to know answers, and how is this going to go? And I felt so comfortable from the beginning. You really helped by introducing everybody, and I immediately felt like I found this tribe. Like, we are part of the same tribe. We all want the best for our kids and each other's kids. There's not one answer for everyone. I loved how you talked about your daughter and her journey, and it's not the same story for everyone. So I thought that was super helpful to hear your personal side as well.
Yeah, I think that's one of the one of the most empowering experiences for me is that we somehow, as parents, we feel like it's a one size fits all when we think about college. And I think your experience and my experience, I think our generation, like if we had foreign parents, it's very similar.
Yeah.
There were no choices, and like do
No.
it on your own, honey, because we're too busy working, which is valid, but we really had to figure it out on our own. And I guess if you were to think of the biggest takeaway for you after that class.
Big takeaway was looking at him as a unique person and thinking about what what are some strengths that I can maybe take a look at for him that he's also interested in. So maybe not the fact that he's just good at math, so go with something with that, but what's he interested in? And we talked about different subjects that he's been doing well in or interested in beyond the sports that he's doing well with, because that's not a guarantee. And thinking about, just the way that he works, is he better with smaller classes? And so even thinking about the types of colleges to visit and to start visiting now, just to kind of see where things are, and completely calmed me. I felt really this peace, and it was more like asking him probing questions and listening. So probably listening the most.
And for you to even say slow down that pace is one of the most critical thing that I want to implement. Like, slow down the pace for our teens. They are not on the same rhythm that we are. I have to say, especially during these times where college visits are going to be tricky, it's even brainstorming and strategizing a little bit more on how they get to know a college. Because visits are being canceled for in-person. So how else can we have students get to know colleges? And that, again, slowing the pace will allow them to not freak out and say, yeah, there are other ways.
The resources that you provided, that was extremely helpful too. Just thinking about not only courses, but volunteering opportunities, things that they can take in the summer to maybe free themselves up during the school year for, other things that they want to try. I just thought that was really helpful. And honestly, just the idea you gave me of encouraging their efforts rather than just like praising what the success was.
Growth mindset, to me, again, another foundation, slowing down the pace, growth mindset. And then, because I think we look at long term. So it's not just getting through the great gates of what happens after high school, which is just another tangible measurement. Like, oh yeah, you got admitted, but really long term, how is our adult children going to overcome face plants? They're going to fail, and how quickly do they recover, and in what ways do they know how to recover? That lasts a whole lifetime. And even though for some of our children it's slower, and like how they learn these strategies and who they are, you just see it. I mean, if we continue to mostly do things right most of the time, because we will continue to face plant, you'll see that, like, for Bella, it's like the momentum of that recovery period is quicker, it's better, it's stronger. And that's like a parent's dream, I would think,
Yeah. No, I remember you talked about resilience and the importance of that. And that is absolutely key, because that was one of the fears I'd come in with, is I've really babied this son of mine, and how's he gonna maneuver this by himself? I had to do it myself, and it was so hard. So I need to do this all for him. And I realized, no, I don't. I can do this with him. I